Welcome back. Junkies on 106.7 The Fan. We're live on NBC Sports Washington. Joining us now on the Mattress Warehouse Hotline is our pal Thom Loverro, who I see is a big fan of Roger Goodell looking at his recent tweets. What's up, Tom?
How you doing, boys?
Hello, Tom. Good morning.
Hey, Tommy. What's
How are
up?
you doing, buddy?
What do you miss most?
What do I miss most? Well, I miss opening day the most.
Yeah.
You know, I miss baseball the most. And actually, that's not true. I miss going out and drinking the most.
And smoking cigars. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's what I miss the most.
So how are you?
To be honest with you,
Are you just staying home like with your wife and just chilling? I mean, are you out in the backyard? Are you doing anything?
well, we live in an apartment that I now call the Frederick Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, we haven't been out, say, for a doctor's appointment or some minimal grocery shopping in 2.5 weeks.
Right.
We have been pretty hunkered down. I take this seriously. I was with UEB from the start.
Yeah.
I took this seriously. And you know, the canary in the coal mine for me was when the Ivy League shut down their basketball tournament.
Yeah.
I said, these are the smartest people we have, whether you like it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when Harvard shut down their school and told their students to go home,
Yeah.
that's when I knew that we were heading for something we'd never seen before.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable. I mean, all you had to do was pay attention to what was happening around the world. And, over here, we were just caught up in our own world and not paying attention to what was happening elsewhere. And then to just hit us this quickly, I'm shocked, Tom, that we already have more cases than anybody else in the world. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the hard part now.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us projected what could happen, but nobody, I don't think, can project what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's
So
terrifying.
I mentioned the Roger Goodell thing. Why don't you get into that? Why are you not a fan of Roger Goodell?
Well, I mean, that this ban that he's put out there from people around the league refusing to be able to talk about the upcoming draft, I guess because it's controversial, because some people thought they should have postponed it, and he's put out an edict that anybody who talks about it who works for the league will be punished, and that's never a good look. I mean, and his father was a United States senator, for God's sakes. That's why I pointed out his dad would be proud of him.
Right.
So it's just not a good look to tell somebody we're gonna discipline you if you talk about the league business publicly that everybody knows about.
Right.
But in terms, one thing about I gotta say, the NFL, they've been a godsend for sports fans right now while this is going on, because they've been able to conduct their off-season business of free agency
Right.
without putting anybody at risk, but giving people, I think, a pretty good diversion, and we could all use a diversion.
Yeah, it's amazing because all the sports are shut down, yet the one sport we talk about is the NFL. I mean, the NBA they're approaching their playoffs. The NHL approaching their playoffs. Baseball about to begin, and yet the only sport that's generating any attention is the NFL. It's really remarkable.
And it really is. I mean, they have a horseshoe stuck up there, you know what? Because to be this lucky, they don't need the extra attention. They don't need a leg up on everybody. They're the NFL. They rule as it is. So you're right. And I have to admit, I mean, I've been following NFL free agency very closely. It's given us a lot to talk about, especially here in D.C. in the past week or so. So, and the draft, I'll be real curious how they operate that as a studio show, because even the studio programs, will Roger Goodell hug the draft choices? I don't think so this time around.
Probably not.
The draft
They're
choices
probably
aren't going to
gonna
be
in the
there.
homes.
Yeah, they're going to be in the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tom, do you agree with the NFL to go forward with the regular date and not move it to May?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. As far as looks, people say it's a bad look. I think we're beyond bad looks right now. We're dealing with more serious issues. I don't think anyone in the NFL is self-destructive enough to put themselves at risk in a studio setting where they wouldn't protect themselves. But still, I mean, you are putting yourself at some risk if you go into a situation like that, even if you're standing 6 or 8 feet apart from each other. All it takes is one TV tech with the virus for everybody to scurry for the corners.
Right,
yeah, I mean, I think they're just going to have to do it the way newscasters are doing it. I mean, the way we're doing it. If everyone's just going to have to do it from home. Mel Kiper is going to have to – he's going to have to zoom in his comments. I think that's the way. And if they do it safely, I have absolutely no problem with it. Absolutely, because we do need the diversion.
Yeah, neither do I. But, I mean, what nobody can answer, no matter where you are on the political side of this, is where are we going to be in May, June, and July? Nobody knows what life is going to be then. And it's a question I really don't want to face at this point.
Yeah, it's too daunting. We've talked about it many times. You can't even bring it up with the kids. Just the sheer idea that we might still be sort of hunkered down like this for a couple more months. I mean, they don't even know how to comprehend
kids can't process it.
Yeah.
Even teenagers. My freshman at Virginia Tech, she can't process it. She's devastated. She doesn't want to be here.
Right.
She doesn't want to take online classes.
I think there's
a
realistic possibility. I mean, they're talking about no college football season. Well, that means kids might not be able to go back to school in the fall initially.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they're going to cancel games in the fall, kids aren't going to be there.
Yeah.
Especially depending on where they're at.
Yeah.
My kid's in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very possible that you could see sporting events like the NBA and maybe baseball. More baseball for postseason. But I think you could see the NBA possibly, restart their league and play games and made all their games in maybe 2 or 3 different locations that they deem safe.
Right.
Specifically for baseball, Tom, what's your opinion? Specifically for MLB, what's the cutoff on how many games they would actually agree to play? I mean, would they play 50? Yeah, I don't think they're going to play.
That's not
but
enough.
Would they? Is it like, is 80 the minimum? Is 90 the minimum? Is 100? I don't know. I don't think they're going to play at all. But 50 is probably not enough. But what do you think?
Well, I would think they would go as low as 50 because
really?
Because I mean you're talking about. I mean, I would think what they do then is, how they talked about adding 2 teams to the playoffs. They would definitely do that this time around. So I think you'd see an expanded playoffs, and I don't think that's revenue. If the point where they can play 50 games, there's deemed no risk, I don't think that's revenue they're going to be able to turn away. I just don't. I mean, that's playoff money for it's just too hard to turn down.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But you're right. We just have no idea, right? We just have no idea what life, especially the sports world, of what's that going to be like in mid-June.
Tom, you also made a good point about the Redskins' acquisition of Kyle Allen. It's exactly what I thought when they did it, that if you're Dwayne Haskins, you're breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ron Rivera, has touted this idea of competition, but he's the owner's quarterback. I mean, there's not going to really be a competition. I mean, we got to live with that. That's what you got to live with. And if you bring in a Cam Newton, there's no competition because Cam Newton's going to beat out Dwayne Haskins 10 out of 10 times. So you're going to bring in a quarterback who Dwayne Haskins is not going to see as a threat. And in some ways, I don't have a problem with that because the issues I have with Haskins are all related to his relationship with the owner and off the field stuff. But on the field, they've made this kid's life difficult. I mean, he had no weapons to play with last year, and he still managed towards the end of the year to give us enough hope that he can play in this league. So why not? Why make it more difficult moving forward for him? Why not, give him as much assurance that he needs that you're going to be the starter this year? Because he is. He knows it. So, I just think that, they need to get some weapons for him. He played without a tight end in a league full of tight ends. And if you're going to judge him, I think you need to make his path of success as smooth as possible.
I was going to say, he still has no weapons.
No, he still doesn't. He still doesn't have
I mean, unless you're
any
excited
weapons.
about Richard Rodgers and Logan Thomas, he still has no weapons.
Impossible to be
And
excited
Peyton
about
Barber.
that too. Unless
Right.
you like blocking.
Yeah.
If you like blocking tight ends, those are your guys.
Well, Tom, stay safe in your fortress of solitude in Frederick.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Stay
For
hunkered
our
down.
pal Tom
Thank you, buddy.
Loverro,
Good
we've
work.
got Dennis Dodd coming up
Thank you,
in
man.
the 9 o'clock hour.